Okay. Cool. All right. I would like to call this meeting of the Narragansett Regional School District School Committee to order, and we will all start with the pledge. Please rise. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a reminder that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded and available to watch on YouTube and Facebook. So we will get started with our meeting minutes of June 20th, 2024. I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes of June 20th, 2024 as written. So moved. Second. Motion by Shauna, second by Heather. Any questions or comments about those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, abstained, and I say yes. So those are approved unanimously. We also have bills and payroll this evening, and I would recommend a motion to accept the bills and payroll warrants as presented. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Heather, second by Sean. Any questions or comments on those bills and warrants? Seeing none. All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? And I say yes, so that was also unanimous. So moving right along, we do not have a student representative present this evening. But I did hear from Mr. Young, and we will have someone present in the September meeting. So really looking forward to meeting our next student representative. And now, without further ado, we have an introduction this evening.
We do, Madam Chair. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Corey Rogers, who is the district's new PBS director. As was communicated, I believe in early June, Mr. Holliday tendered his resignation with the closer to home, and we started a search immediately, and we were very pleasant. Corey came to us and applied. He's got quite, I couldn't possibly read all the things that have been done in Gordon, because there's a lot, but he is certainly a well-traveled gentleman. He has worked both, when I say private sector, I mean that both educationally and non-educationally. He has worked in several districts in Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, and my favorite is that he also was a general manager for Bridgestone and Firestone tires. So in case you have any questions, I think that's important to know. Corey's really hit the ground running. It's impossible to be new, especially as a teacher director. It's a lot of information to take in. It's like drinking from a fire hose, literally information wise, but he has really done a fantastic job coming in, embracing all that is us. It's my pleasure to introduce.
Welcome.
Well, we're very excited to have you. We know that there were a lot of local districts hiring for this type of position, so we're very, very pleased. Many thanks to Shauna actually for stepping in and jumping in at the last minute to help with the interviews. We're just thrilled to have you on board and excited to welcome you to the district. And we won't pressure you to speak this evening, but we'll look forward to another time when we can hear from you and get an update as you. Well, you'll still be drinking from a fire hose, but maybe the fire hose will then, maybe die down just a little bit, so it's a little less strong. But yeah, welcome. This is such a great district, and we're so happy to have you.
Thank you. Very excited to be here.
All right.
Sure.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public who would like to give input this evening? Moving right along. We do have our NDEA representative here this evening. We're excited to welcome you back.
Thank you. Nice to be back. And I think from people I've talked to, and I've been in and out of the building the last couple of weeks getting my classroom ready. The buildings look fabulous. kudos to our custodial staff, they've done an amazing job as usual. But everyone I talked to seems refreshed, so I think it was a good summer for people. Longer time, which wasn't the case last year, beautiful weather, so we're ready to get back into it.
Excellent. Well, welcome back and good luck to everyone as they get started, get classrooms ready. It's an exciting time. I really appreciate all of that work that goes into getting ready for the school year. Thank you. Welcome. All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I paused and I was also going to say that, and I don't know if it's later in the agenda, I just haven't had a chance. As you know, the school committee appoints by vote, the PPS director. So obviously, we generally do it right after the introduction, and that's my fault for not, it's my recommendation to the school committee that we vote to appoint, that you want.
I mean, we can go back. We can go back. It's just fine because we don't want to miss that. We'd like you to know. Thank you.
So.
And we're pushing my name to appoint Corey Rogers, a second by Heather. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Abstained, and I say yes. Apologies that I forgot that little piece.
That's not a fault.
Folks like both of us. So, like I said, we appreciate your being here, and now you're sons of us.
Legal.
Legal. So thank you. All right, now we can move on. So we do have a few different items going on in the budget. So I will hand this over to Anne Marie. Essentially, what we need to do is close out FY '24. We then didn't get the additional monies we were expecting from the state, so we need to recertify for fiscal year 2025. And then we have additional updates. So Anne Marie, I'll let you go into the details.
So the first thing is we need to do some transfers for housekeeping for FY '24. Those are attached, but I'll just go over them quickly. We need to, on the 1,000 district leadership line, we need to add $52,910. The instruction line, we need to add 37,753,000, and from student services, which is like busing, nursing, athletics, that we need to take 65,510 out of there to help cover these other spots. We need to move $37,743 to the operations and maintenance line. And to the fixed charges line, we need to move $80,595. And from the tuition line, we need to decrease that by $143,491. And the big reason for these transfers is the tuitions. We had a couple of Thrive students that we were able to bring back from out of district. So that's why we have leftover in the tuition line, which helps cover some of the other places that we were short, like in the substitutes line. And I'm happy to say the reason we're moving 80,000 to the fixed charges is we were able to take every single bit of our health insurance from the general fund this year, except for that $400,000 assessment, but that was separate. Regular monthly stuff, it's all came from the general fund, none from school choice. Huge, that's great.
Okay, so in order to help Anne Marie finish up the fiscal year 2024 budget, we do need to make a motion to authorize her to make those line item transfers as presented to close the budget. So motion by Sean.
Second.
And a second by Sean. Any questions or comments about any of those moves? No, seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, abstained, and I say yes, so that's unanimous and well done. We can close that out. It's very exciting.
Thank you.
Very excited to be seeing that insurance move. That's
Definitely.
great. That's fantastic. All right. So moving on to FY 25.
We got the final numbers from the state, which was an increase to our chapter 70, which we were expecting to come. So we didn't want to, we would have to restart with those numbers. Chapter 70 increased over the one we approved in May by 98,420. Our charter school reimbursement funds went down a little bit. They went down by 7,445. So our overall increase to this budget is $90,975 that we need to take care of. I have one more minute.
About this.
Yeah.
So, because I sent out an email. It's here at 5:30, this afternoon, once we have, get everything all together. So the email is about the Monty Tech grant approval notification. So if you remember, during budget time, we were really trying to find a way to hire the MVP position. That is the Monty Tech position that the kids will stay here at Narragansett, and those 12 students, et cetera. But there was an opportunity, at least we were told there was an opportunity that grant funds could be found to cover that educator. But we knew that the grant deadline or timeline was not going to coincide with our budget timeline. So we were, obviously the school committee and folks from both towns were really kind of put on notice that, look, I don't want to promise anything, but these monies could take place. And so what we talked about was that if they did come to fruition, that if the grants did come through, that we would let the towns know. Given the fact that this position really did a lot of positive conversation, people really wanted it to happen. And so in the email, I just simply stated that, the right thing to do is to let the towns know that, look, we did get $7,000 to cover the teacher position. Certainly we have other needs, right? We know that, and I listed some of them, but it, really is on the school committee and probably discussion with the town if they want that money to go back into their coffers, right? So we'd have to recertify the budget again. Yeah, so it was not possible to just make everything happen in time for this meeting without, again, we were still kind of working out a few things just earlier this week. So that is where we sit. We're happy that the grant came through. Of course we are. But that is something obviously for discussion.
So for right now, what we need to recertify is for the additional $90,000 that came in from the state. And as we discussed at previous meetings, that's going to be used to fund those additional paras for kindergarten. So we will have paras in every kindergarten classroom because of these additional funds that have come in. What will somewhat wait until the September meeting is the $70,000 grant. And to decide, I guess, what's on the table at this moment is there's an option that those monies could, the towns could say, thank you so much for letting us know. We really do need those funds for other things within our towns. Since you got that grant, we could really use those monies for other things. The other possibility is that, we know that there were a variety of positions that we wanted to fund, but ultimately decided that we couldn't fund because of what was available for budget. And so the other option is, should the towns be like, we've already approved it, you have those monies, please keep them. We could also talk about an additional funding opportunities using those monies now that we have the grant available. Before we go into my big long sheet of motions, I will pause now for any questions about these changes because I know there's a lot of moving pieces at the moment. We don't usually have to recertify the budget this many times.
Can we, and maybe you mentioned this and I just missed it as an, I'm sorry, can we ask the town if they need funds? Cause
So that's
that would be the state,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Because I mean, the town was good enough to give us the money, we should give them the first crack at it.
and
this
we
is,
promise,
you know,
we,
Yeah.
I
take care of your town.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
but on the other hand, if they're like, no, put it back in the school, well,
Yeah,
now we really want, you
so
know, so that's that idea of community.
that's the email that Dr. Cassavant sent today, so you probably haven't had a chance to see it because it was sent out at 4:30.
Okay.
But
Good.
he sent that communication out to say, hey, we did receive this grant. Should the towns need this money, it's available, and I think Adam immediately responded
Yep,
to say, let us
Both
know
towns
what
are
the
notified.
school committee wants to do, and so we're sort of, at this point, we're gonna wait and see what other responses we get.
All right,
So
very good.
I have, there'll be further discussion around that, but that is exactly what was done. Okay, any other questions?
I just have a question about this current
Yes.
recertification. And forgive me, I don't remember the correct numbers, but at the end of May, you were talking about, you know, if the number was gonna pass and it was a certain number per pupil or something, is that?
10.
And it's, so that's what we were
That's what
anticipating,
reflects.
and that's what came in?
Yes.
Okay, exactly.
That's, okay, that's
Yeah.
what I needed to know, thank you.
Yeah, good memory. So, any other questions or comments? Okay, so I have my nice long list of motions. So that we can, because we normally have to recertify the total budget, we also have to recertify all the line items, so bear with me, my friends. I would entertain a motion that the Narragansett Regional School District School Committee vote and certify the amount of $24,481,132 for the fiscal year 25 budget.
So, second.
Motion by Heather, second by Shauna. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in Hank, roll call?
Sure.
All right, roll call, Hank,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Shauna.
Yes.
Heather.
Yes.
And I say yes, so that is unanimous. I would entertain a motion that the Narragansett Regional School District School Committee vote the estimated income of $12,479,169 for the fiscal year 25 budget, which is based on the Chapter 78 from the Governor's House One budget submission. Motion by Heather,
Second.
second by Shauna. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, Hank,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Shauna.
Yes.
Heather.
Yes.
And I say yes. That is unanimous. I would entertain a motion that the Narragansett Regional School District School Committee vote the estimated income of $639,423 for the fiscal year 25 budget, which is based on the Chapter 71 aid from the Governor's House One budget submission.
So moved.
Motion by Heather,
Second.
second by Shauna. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, Hank,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Shauna, Heather. Yes. And I say yes, so that is also unanimous. I would entertain a motion that the Narragansett Regional School District School Committee vote the estimated income of $7,458 for the fiscal year 25 budget, which is based on the charter school reimbursement from the fiscal year 25 cherry sheet estimates. Motion by Heather,
Second.
second by Shauna. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, Hank,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Shauna.
Yes.
Heather? Yes. And I say yes, so that is unanimous. I would entertain a motion that the Narragansett Regional School District School Committee vote the estimated income of $500,000 for the fiscal year 25 budget, which is based on the fiscal year 23 certified excess and deficiency.
So moved.
Motion by Heather,
Second.
second by Shauna. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, Hank,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Shauna, Heather.
Yes.
And I say yes, so that is unanimous. I would entertain a motion that the Narragansett Regional School District School Committee vote the estimated income of $245,000 for the fiscal year 25 budget, which is based on fiscal year 25 Medicaid receipts.
So moved.
Motion by Heather,
Second.
second by Shauna. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, Hank,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Shauna.
Yes.
Heather.
Yes.
And I say yes, so that is unanimous. I would entertain a motion that the Narragansett Regional School District School Committee vote the assessment amount to Templeton in the amount of $8,572,765.
So moved.
Motion by Heather, second by Shauna. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, Hank,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Shauna.
Yes.
Heather.
Yes.
And I say yes, so that is unanimous. One more. I would entertain a motion that the Narragansett Regional School District School Committee vote the assessment amount to Phillipston in the amount of $2,037,317.
So, second.
Motion by Heather, second by Shauna. Any questions or comments? Seeing none. Hank,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Shauna, yes. Heather,
Yes.
and I say yes, so that is unanimous, and we have recertified fiscal year 25 budget, and we will have a further discussion about those grant funds that came in next month. Okay, great, thanks, everyone. Anything else, Anne Marie, for fiscal year 25?
No, as far as things going on in the office, we are applying for our entitlement grants. I'm pulling our hair out with bus routes, student information, everything else. I mean, every single person in the office this summer is doing a new role. So it's a little bit, so like we have a lot of cross training, a lot of guessing, a lot of, long days, long nights, long weekends. We're plugging away.
Well, thanks very much for all that work, because there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that nobody ever knows about, but everybody experiences every day, so. Thanks for all that hard work, because it's no joke, everything that you all have to do to get the school up and running and ready for the next school year.
Processed our first payroll this year for the teachers, so that's a plus. It went smoothly.
I'm very certain that they all appreciate that. Thanks, Anne Marie, appreciate it. Okay,
Well said.
business managers report, anything additional there? Did we go through it all? Excellent. All right, Ms. Superchi, I will hand it over to you for our curriculum and instruction updates.
That's great. First off, our MVP Academy program, we are really excited to be launching that this year. I know I presented about it at the end of last school year, but I update for you. As you know, or may know, we had 12 seats, 6 seats for juniors, 6 seats for seniors. We put applications out, and we had 18 students express interest, so we ran Mr. Young ran a lottery, and we filled all 12 seats. And we currently have 11 students enrolled. We had one who, for various reasons, withdrew from the program. And we're in the process of filling that seat with alternates from the lottery. A lot more interest in electrical than carpentry, so that was interesting to see. And we have, so of the 11 who are currently enrolled, we have 4 juniors and 6 seniors. So we have 1 junior opening that we are in the process of filling. And those students are invited, and their families are invited next Wednesday evening to Monty Tech to actually have an orientation, see their new building, meet some of the staff that will be part of the program over there. So we're really excited to get that up and running. And then we also found, you know, what we weren't sure we were gonna find. We found a teacher dually certified in English and history to fill the academic position here to support their mass core requirements while they're here, week on, week off, campus weeks. So we're really, really excited to just report that things are coming together. This program is gaining a lot of excitement, and I know we'll, you know, in the first year, we'll probably have some bumps in the roads and things we'll have to work out, but we're in a really good place and really excited to offer this opportunity to our students this year and moving forward. Any questions about MVP program?
No, I'm just really excited to
Same.
hear more about it as it kicks off. It's such, I mean, thanks so much to the towns for helping us make sure that that could happen. And now we have the grant, and it's just really exciting to see move forward.
And Ms. Donnelly, who is our college career and internship coordinator, and Mr. Young have been incredibly hands-on and problem solving and working a lot this summer to really make the transition for these students and their families.
So awesome. Please pass along our thanks, because we know, again, behind the scenes work is tremendous.
PD update. We had 5 of our TES teachers participate in Project Lead the Way launch training this summer. And so if you're unfamiliar, there's a training through Project Lead the Way that teachers are required to do before they actually can access and utilize the program. And of those 5, I believe 4 were new people who came on board for this school year, and 1 was a teacher from last year who came on board but hadn't done the training yet. So they all reported that they were really excited to have the opportunity to be trained over the summer so that it didn't, wasn't more days out of the classroom that they had to do for training. So we were excited to offer that opportunity and excited that they took advantage of that as well. Also, we had Mr. Young and I attended the Project Lead the Way Leaders Summit a few weeks ago, which was really helpful for thinking about long-term visioning with our programming, particularly at the high school where we offer all 3 pathways right now. And we'll continue to. So that was really exciting. And then lastly, our middle school history, social sciences department. All of the teachers, the assistant principal, Ms. Smith and I went this summer to an additional training on investigating history. It's the curriculum that we talked about last year. We got the extension grant this year, which provides additional professional development opportunities for all of the classroom teachers to do an additional unit studying with teachers across the state who are teaching the same grade level and content as them, which is fantastic, particularly for our teachers who are singletons. And they're the only ones who teach that subject and grade. So it gives them a lot of built-in collaboration and networking with teachers across the state. In addition to that, the grant also is going to provide us with some additional coaching support. So we're going to do that a little bit differently this year. We're going to have the coach come in and actually do more of a lesson study model with the full team during some of their common planning times. So they'll have an opportunity to watch some videos of some sample lessons from other teachers across the state. They'll have a chance to co-plan lessons and look at some of the instructional practices that are consistent across all 3 grades. So really excited to report that we have additional support for them going into this year and year 2 with those resources. Excited. And then lastly, we have been working the last few weeks with our, not a new teacher, but in a new role. Jody Kirby is now serving as a unified arts teacher at TES in the library space. The position is literacy and digital media. And so the last few weeks we've been meeting and we've been unpacking the digital literacy standards and literacy frameworks. We've been combining to create a curriculum that is focused on digital literacy and brings in some early reading skills embedded within that curriculum for the for pre-K to 2, and then for 3rd and 4th, we are embedding some reading and writing components just to give a little extra boost to some of the literacy skills while they're in that unified arts class. And Jody, she's been a 4th grade ELA teacher. This is her wheelhouse, so she's been really engaged in that process, and I feel strongly we have a really engaging curriculum for our students coming up in that class.
Any questions for Ms. Superchi?
Just the last part, that's just very exciting.
Thank you.
Okay. We did not have any surplus items come in. So we did receive Jeff's official resignation. I owe you all a copy. I apologize. I forgot to hit forward on that and then summer. So I will make sure that you all have a copy of it, but we did send that over to the town of Phillipston to let them know they did post this, the vacancy notice. We have not received any applicants. So if you know anyone in Phillipston that you think, this is a great opportunity to try things out. Sean, I know you came in at a time when you were filling a vacant position because it does give you that opportunity to try things out for you. Heather, I think you did as well, because you get to come in. Your commitment is only for a year, and then you can decide whether or not you want to run in the spring. So if you know anyone, please do spread the word. We definitely want to make sure our town of Phillipston is fully represented, and that, we're making sure that their voices are heard. So please do if you can. So hopefully we'll have some applicants in time for our September meeting. But yeah, we need some networking help for those of you who might have some friends.
Yeah, it's a great point, Jen, that,
Yeah.
You can try it out.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if it's not for you, and it's not for everybody, because a lot of people will say, oh, how do you do it? I think maybe we all kind of get that. So I think, yeah, it is a good kind of trial role, and it's not for them, then,
Absolutely.
learn that.
Absolutely. And, folks, should anyone have any questions, any one of us would be happy to answer them. So folks should feel free to reach out. Okay. So we're now on to our big item of the night, which is the student and family handbook. And Molly, Sukuchi, I'm going to hand this back over to you for an introduction. I know that this was the product of a lot of hard work, as I know that was previewed last time. Some of the biggest changes were to dress code as well as to the disciplinary section, but otherwise I'll let you give the intro.
Sure, thank you. I believe I sent this out in email to all the committee members with the draft last week, but as Jen mentioned, we really took feedback, that we received last year from a whole host of folks. We received feedback from the school committee, regarding the dress code. We received feedback from just about everyone regarding, discipline procedures. And our team really leaned into that work. The administrative team and others really, the equity committee really leaned in. And what you'll see are a lot of edits, a complete rewrite essentially of our district dress code. We worked that through our administrative team, through our equity committee, which is a representative committee, and of course our attorney also had input in that process. Similarly with our behavior discipline section, you'll see not a full rewrite, but you'll see an addition of potential consequences for violations of behavior, and quite a bit of new language in that section as well. Some of the other areas you'll see changes to is you'll see that the sexual harassment section is deleted. The Title IX laws have changed a lot this summer. We may even see new changes to those, but as of August 1st, that is what we're following and using. And so the term sexual harassment is no longer applicable to sex-based discrimination, sex-based harassment. And so we're kind of at an interesting spot, because what you'll see is a link in our handbook, or a spot for a link in our handbook. We are unable to update our procedures until we update and revise our school committee policy. So we have a couple of action steps to take, but at the recommendation of our district's attorney, what you'll see is that section essentially pulled out of the handbook and linked. And once those are updated, it'll be linked on our district website. What's linked now is what was our past practice. So that will remain until we are able to update those procedures. And we'll go into depth on that section quite a bit when we get to the policy committee and have a chance to update there. Outside of those major areas, some little things, some minor language or additions to things that were missing or clarifications that needed to be made. But we've really spent quite a bit of time on our handbook and are hopeful to answer any questions, but hopeful to have that approved so we can get that in the hands of students and families pretty quickly. So any questions? And I do think Shauna and Jen sent some very detailed feedback, and it was really helpful to really consider and think about as we were doing updates. So thank you for that.
It was the longest, Madam Chair, for me. It was the longest I've ever seen. An attorney keep our handbook, or anyways. They told us early on that this was gonna be, because literally they were changing things, almost daily. So that is of course why that section, of course, was, we didn't get to this late, because they kept it for almost over a month, I believe.
Yes, well over a month.
It was, bad. So just want to make sure I threw that out there.
And so before I say anything, I just want to throw it back out to the committee. Is there anyone with questions, with comments?
Since Dr. Cassidy just mentioned that, I was wondering, I don't know if it's easier for you guys to work on this during the summer months, or maybe we're at the mercy of the attorneys. Would it be better to, for approval from us to get our students? Should we, pull it back to spring? Is that a better timeline for you guys, or no?
We typically present it to you and hope to have it approved in June.
Okay.
And so this year, primarily because of the changes coming with Title IX, and I believe it was 26 states who appealed. It was still ongoing. We knew we weren't going to be able to finalize that section, and so we were waiting, and then it got bumped and bumped. So typically, we present our handbook to you in June for review and approval, so that we can not have it in folks' hands 2 weeks before the start of school. So this is an unusual timeline. So, yeah.
I was thinking about in terms of, your time and kids in the building or kids not. I mean, I know summer is extremely busy for all of you. So I was just kind of thinking what would work best for you as a team.
No, thank you. We typically start reviewing it in mid to late winter, and it takes us a while to go through that process. And then get a draft to our attorney usually for, if we have major revisions, we usually.
Because you can see it, I mean, well done. I can see
Thank
the significant amount of work that you all put into.
Our team worked hard on that.
Yeah.
And I believe our attorney gave us, they said that our handbook was very thorough.
Yes,
So I'm like, oh, good. So, yeah.
he had lots of feedback as well, but he also.
It was thorough and he gave us a lot of feedback. That's absolutely true. Yeah, so maybe he's just being nice.
Yeah, so what I would just mention is that last year, due to timing, we also ended up reviewing in August. But what I will say was, what was wonderful is at that time, there were some concerns expressed about like dress code and some other things. And what we did at that time is we had approved it with the caveat that like, hey, we're gonna approve this because in order for the school to function, we need a handbook in place. But with the commitment that that was going to be worked on throughout the year. So like, what I do want to really recognize is huge kudos that not only was that commitment made at that August meeting, but then that was followed through with group meetings, because there were a lot of folks involved in that dress code discussion. I know you got a lot of feedback on disciplinary or clarity around disciplinary procedures, as well as, what exactly was considered a behavior that needed correction. And so that also came out of the August meeting as well as further feedback. But I mean, it's just fabulous to see that collaboration coming out of that meeting and all the work that went into it. So like, yes, to your point, Shauna, like it is a long time to get it done. And, unfortunately, just because, we wait for legal approvals, we had to wait until August this year because otherwise we would have been ready in June. But I think it's just huge that, if we have that sort of collaboration between the school committee and everyone in administration to get these things done. So huge thank you, because I know that there was a lot of moving pieces to get all of this coordinated, to get all of this rewritten. So yeah, so any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. I would entertain a motion to approve the student and family handbook for 2024-2025 as written.
So moved.
Second, motion by Shauna, and second by Heather. One last check on questions or comments. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstained, and I say yes, so that is unanimous. You are welcome. So we can get that published. All right, Dr. C, I'm going to hand this over to you. It is your time to shine.
Yeah. Finally, let's hope I don't disappoint. Thank you, Madam Chair. So, we're, you go 2 months without having a meeting, and of course, a lot is to report on. So I really just decided to pick some of the luck and do what I want. But first and foremost, it's been posted and has been communicated out by Seaman Paper in collaboration with the Sidney Payne, Payne Foundation. Are going to donate 100 supply-filled backpacks to TES. And so that is just obviously just a wonderful thing. And I know that they're doing it in some other, we're not the only school. I believe that there are several other schools. So that was it was a nice little surprise. And certainly people have been very appreciative and, thanked us, but it really is, of course, the Siemens Paper and the foundation. If you walk through the buildings, and again, we're not completely ready, but they are just in fantastic shape. They look great. Our custodians did a lot of work, and as I get down through my list here, you'll understand why. Again, they are small in numbers, but they are mighty. These buildings, both buildings, look fantastic, and they've done a great job. I always bring up the pre-maintenance, right, preventive maintenance, because that is, for me, as a former business manager, facilities person, is that, the air handlers and all those things, if you're not cleaning those things out, if you're not doing those type of work you're gonna pay for it literally very later. And so all of that work has been done. Keith Parker, of course, who's our facilities director, has done a great job orchestrating. Certainly, there's been, well, this year has been the first year in about 4, I think, that we've had some, when I say substantial, more than sort of one change in leadership. So obviously, we've met, you were introduced to Corey, but we also had Emily Saltizik tender her resignation and to accept the position in Quabbin, Barry, but for the Quabbin Regional School District where she lives. So that was it was a great move for her, and we thank her for all of her wonderful efforts. And I'll tell you, if you were to go through how to open a building during the middle of COVID and then move a 5th grade to and fro, I'll tell you, there should be at least a medal or a small statue built at some point. So we thank her for all of her hard work here. But Marcy Rasmussen, pardon me, the assistant principal, agreed to step up in the interim role of principal. It created a kind of an interesting dynamic because, when you're an interim, you get to move back into the position, of course, that you had, which is the assistant principal. They decided to not make the assistant principal's position interim. You have too many interims running around, it just becomes hard, and you want someone, again, I don't want to use the expression, they burn the boats when they landing, but you want someone who's going to be here invested and really kind of take a flyer on themselves. And we found a fantastic candidate. We'll introduce Casey to Ms. Putnam next school committee with Marcy here too, because we want to, have them both here so they can, give you their hellos. So we're very, very lucky. We had quite a pool of candidates, and there was and I think that when it's a not an interim position, what we know is that we receive a very, I think you see a stronger pool at times because they want a full, or at least an opportunity for a full time. So Casey's done a great job, and she's got a lot of experience, but I'll let, we'll save that for another day. Change in roles in central office, although, there's been a couple of new, quote unquote, new faces, but literally everyone in central office, with the exception of Anne Marie, well, I'm just saying, is doing something new. Right, well, Felicia, yeah.
Technically, I am too, because I took off medication.
Yeah, she took on it. So, anyway, we're going through some growing pains in central office. And we're, getting through it. Again, the level of administrivia to the state, and because of the state and feds is quite a bit. So quite a learning curve, but given the folks that we have in there, I don't doubt for a minute that we'll be up to speed. So we're taking things slowly. Probably a little too slow for the Department of Ed's, favor, but we'll worry about that later. I'm gonna save, that one for that. So a couple of different things. We have been exceptionally busy, utilizing the ARPA funds, right, for drainage, Templeton, the rural aid monies that we received, just really to do, to start improving a lot of our common areas. I'm going to use that very loosely. So the library, of course, was in progress at the end of last year, but is now completed. And that is a space that is just phenomenal. I was just showing a few folks that it's unbelievable, and it's so gigantic. But we'll have well over 70,000 ebooks, right, available for both middle and high school students, and they can do this all online now. So the question was asked to a librarian, and yes, we do, but that librarian is not the traditional librarian that we probably all have a picture of. These folks are doing the Dewey Decimal System, I will tell you, and so the folks, it took some time, books weren't coming and going as much as we would have liked. So now that they're online, so I give the example, if we if we had 2 copies of Tom Sawyer prior, right, in hard cover, then we now have 2 electronic copies of Tom Sawyer. So if a third person, they're gonna have to wait till the book is returned, virtually. So it really operates on that same basis, and also with the help of the Massachusetts, libraries. I think it's either association or consortium, where we now have access to 70,000 books across the state of Massachusetts because we have a library. If we did not have that position, we could not access those texts. So that's a big deal. You see what we're doing on the fields. I mean, we talk about it a lot. We've kind of recaptured the land to the left of the baseball field, which will eventually be a softball field, and a practice space. Again, our varsity or our softball, well, varsity and JV softball players are the only team that cannot play on campus. It's always been, at least for me, kind of an issue, and so we want to definitely bring them up on campus. And so that way, I'm sure that the Parks and Rec folks will love it too, because it opens up their fields and it just becomes a lot better. Something we've talked about a lot is the lower field by the wind turbine is underway. And they have started to strip the materials and they've started the process of fixing the drainage in the field there. So in a year, all things being equal and a lot of good luck coming with weather, etc. In about a year, we should, probably a little bit more, we should be able to use both spaces, which is a huge deal on a lot of fronts, but primarily is that we have got to take some, we've got to take some traffic off of our main athletic field. We have to, it's being used way too much, and it's just going to not be able to hold up. So, and we want our student athletes to be on campus. That's where we want them. So we talked about the library, the parking lots. If again, it seems to almost be an afterthought. I almost forgot to throw this on the list. We added a parking lot behind the cafeteria entrance. And along the stone wall central office, we fixed the drainage culvert because it was starting to wash out, but that will also be parking for central office. So we probably in total have increased staff parking by 30 some odd spots. Reason why that's important is because when you start graduating kids of 100 per class, again, I said this last year's 64 or 65 graduates. That number we're not going to see that number in a while, not for the foreseeable future. So we're at about 100, we're over 100 almost every grade, all the way down to the 8th grade and beyond. So those kids drive. So all of a sudden you go from 60 potential kids driving, now you have 90, and then you get juniors who are coming up. And so you now almost doubled, the number of kids who are driving. And by the way, our kids don't drive. A lot of our kids don't drive just for fun. Our kids drive because they've got to get to work. And we know this because a lot, here's a car and have fun. Yep, that's fun, but they're actually utilizing that to either get brother and sister around or go to work. So it's important that they have a place to be. And the high school has got a whole system worked out. We have little staff tags, and I don't think we have them here. I was going to bring it, but well, all right. So we got the staff tags, and so we're official. Right? So just so you know. Let's see. Are you putting something up? Or you awful? I'll just keep talking.
Parking.
Very, very. So, we talked about the MVP. We had a bunch of brand new high schoolers up here during our Warrior Leadership Academy, led by some of our very best seniors, and it was always fantastic. They were doing tie-dye. That's why I think this table is sticky. I'm not sure. We'll check it out later. But it was in the kids. I had 3 kids when I was saying hello, saying I feel better about coming. I was nervous, which is interesting because they're just right down the hall. If you think of it from a spatial perspective, they're literally just down the hallway, and they've been in the high school hallway to take some class, but they weren't high school. and now they're high school. So it was good to hear that. I'm glad that they feel comfortable and it was a good time. Okay, the other part is that one of the things I want to definitely let the folks know is that when anytime someone when we see change happen here, you know, one of the things that I do is evaluate, you know, the whole system of things. So when change happens, it's always a good time to look at what is working and what is not. And so when the PPS director, Matt, moved on, and of course, we hired Corey, and Cheryl Rousseau was our secretary for, I believe, 12 years, and she moved on. We started to look at systems, and we're looking at capacity, and you've heard this plenty of times, but we do look at it all. And so, you know, there were some tweaks here and there that we made, and that some that are coming. But one of the things that we did is we looked at Ashley Niggle's job, right? So Ashley Niggle, as you know, is by title, the assistant PPS director. Okay, when we hired her, that's what we hired her for. And you know, we had this idea that there would be this capacity to be the assistant PPS director and also handle all the social emotional, you know, things that go on, and of course, you know, supervise psychologists, etc. COVID happened. And what happened is that we had far more, you know, mental health concerns, issues, or opportunities, the way you look at it, where a lot of what she did was much of that was almost all mental health, you know, and oddly enough, which some people find different, is that she was also a huge part in our physical security plans, because guidance counselors generally get trained to run prepare classes, etc. about what do you do when emergencies happen, because a lot of it is the psychological piece, but it's also the physical piece, etc. And she is a trainer in that. And then also what happened is Mariah left, right? So Mariah was our nurse leader. She moved on. So we had this gap, we had this gaping hole. So like, what are we going to do? So we decided to reevaluate what her role, her title was, and what she actually did. And did they match? And they did not. So, you know, we're still working out some of the kinks in terms of a job description, et cetera, or just, you know, what the roles are. But we decided to, again, this was done, and I will say this, pre-recording in terms of this is the previous one. I'm like, wow, here's an interesting story. So I invited you here not to introduce him, but so he could hear Wally. So ultimately, what we want to do is, you know, we want to change her title to the head of health, wellness, and safety, because that's truly where she has done it. You know, as I was saying to Corey earlier in the week, is that she didn't sit through a lot of IEP meetings or any of those type of things. She didn't have the time because the capacity wasn't there, because we had all these other pieces. We never thought that we would have 3 school psychologists, 3 BCBAs, but on top of all that, the workload that requires 3 and 3, and we do, and we know this because we've talked a lot about social emotional well-being of kids just in general, not just because of COVID, but just in general. So that is one of the things that we've been working on, not only with Ashley, Matt prior to leaving, but just in general, looking at the things that she actually did versus the things that we were just saying that she did. She will, of course, well, not that you may know this, but she's still in the PPS office. She's still going to be, I'm sure for the foreseeable future, of course, right-hand person in terms of like, she knows the folks, she knows the place, she knows the structures, etc. But we really do want to, we don't want to operate in a situation in which a role, if you're not able to do that, then we don't want to call it something, because then the expectations, obviously can get warped a bit, and especially if folks change over, right? And you go like, well, you're the assistant PPS director, so I've never done one thing in terms of the PPS director stuff. So we wanted to make sure that we recognize that. Also, I also just want to say, this is not an additional position. Nothing has changed. Literally nothing has changed. Money hasn't changed. Time hasn't changed. The person hasn't changed. Everything's the same. We have changed her title to best meet what she's actually doing, every day, every single day. In terms of the reporting structure, because of those things, I moved her under Molly. So she reports technically in terms of being evaluated under Molly. Because it made sense to do those things. We could have honestly kept them, we could have kept this position in either or. But given the transition, it just made sense and we need to revisit that and we can always do that. But it made sense given the time of when this conversation started, that we would place her under Molly in terms of the supervision law. I think that's it.
Josh, did you want to talk about the admin retreat?
I don't, but yes, I will. So thank you for reminding me, I forgot sometime. So the admin retreat, we try to, generally we just hunker down and into Molly's office and we have an admin retreat. But we reached out and we asked the wonderful folks, by the way, at Great Wolf Lodge, if they would just allow us to, I don't know, take up a small corner of their wonderful building, if we could just have the meeting, just to change the location. And they very graciously said, absolutely, no cost or anything like that. So we have some interesting pictures and given what we do, we put them on a little scavenger hunt. So I want you to picture, I don't know, 10 or 12 administrators running around on Great Wolf Lodge, either getting a picture with a bear, high-fiving and funny, playing skeet ball, trying to get a high score. So, that was just like, kind of a little icebreaker, et cetera. And of course, we all had our traditional ears, which is very, very important. But it was great just to get off campus and go sit up, in a different spot, and to, just to be able to get away and to have our administrative retreat. And so that's what we did for 2 days at the beginning of August, as we would normally do. So it was a good opportunity. And I promised never to show these pictures, but of course, I lied to them. So we probably will be showing them a lot. But other than that, I think I hit everything. Okay. Yeah.
I have to issue a complaint that, you did not participate in the clause out, experience.
Our photographer took several pictures. And he, at one point I'm like this, one like this. I felt that I was too dignified, quite frankly, to do pause, so I am the leader of the district, and I don't think it's appropriate to do clause, so.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, but yeah, I know, but yeah, so it was a good time, but yes, that's what we did.
It's fantastic. Looks great.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you. I know that took probably a little extra coordination.
it
but
did, but they were great to us, they were really good to us, we had our own sign, we had signage that they did, we didn't ask for anything, we just wanted to just be able to say that, you make some water, and we can, and electricity would be good, but, we were.
Did I see you up there in the pictures? Excellent. Very good.
I did.
Well done.
Are you thinking, what did I sign up for?
Yeah.
I came from the middle school, so this is good.
So,
No, perfect. Any questions or comments for Dr. C? So just a reminder, when you do get that job description written, that does have to come back through us for approval. It's not a new position, so I don't really consider us needing to approve the position, but the job description itself.
well, I gotta tell you, Madam Chair, that I was on the fence about when to. We don't have meetings set up yet. I'm just, so I didn't want to wait, say until September, October to have meetings for us to go through the official process without me talking to staff. So I was really kind of, it was
I
kind
know
of
we'll
a.
go to operations first, but yeah, by all means, bring it up here because
Yeah.
you need to move the business forward. Like we said, it's not a new position, but it is let me rephrase that. It is a rewrite of an existing job description so that it appropriately reflects what's done, but just so we
Yeah.
can dot i's, cross t's, make sure that
Absolutely.
goes through.
I think one thing I just want to add is that I know we don't talk about, personnel. I just want to say though, Ashley is so wonderful and I think we can all agree to that. And I hope that any of the changes that she was okay with and that she's not trying to leave, I hope.
Oh,
So,
no, we've had an open conversation about what we were saying she was doing. And what she was actually doing, and there just wasn't enough daylight, to do both, and so. So instead of going a new another position, which again would be maybe something that both, we decided to at least at first, call this position what it is, without crying poverty, so to speak. And then that'll be something we can, we'll definitely talk about. But I would say this is that, and we have established our sped chairs a lot more, with a lot more strength than we have in the past. Again, Terry was our only sped chair in this district for many, 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 many years. And so now we have a sped chair in every building, just to the high school and the elementary. So they become an important part of the team. Again, they are part of the NDEA, they are teachers, but they become, those did not exist. No more than say 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
I think it provides a lot of clarity
Sure.
to parents and the community when a title reflects what someone actually
Yeah.
does. So I think it's fantastic that you took the opportunity with changes coming in to say, okay, how do we not only make these great changes with new folks coming in, but also look at what's happening across different folks and say, all right, how do we make sure it's clear to our community what different people are in charge of? Because I'm sure when you open up that directory and you're looking for someone, you gotta make sure you're reaching out to the right person, so that's great. All right. Coming back to our agenda here, we didn't have anything unanticipated, so school committee comments, so I'll just open it up to the group in case there's anything that anybody wanted to bring up or discuss. Not yet, I know it's August, we're all just getting back into the swing of things. I'm going to just overall just say, subcommittees, they did not meet over the course of the summer. And Danielle's not here as our legislative representative, so we'll skip over those items unless somebody knows about legislation that they wanted to bring up in Danielle's absence. No? Okay. All right. So moving through those items down to correspondence, we did get a message through Skillshare, or Skillshare, sorry. So just to bring that up, the message was from Lynn Bloor, and it said, I think it came directly to me. Hi Jennifer, is there any way the committee could discuss setting a before and after school program for fifth graders? My granddaughter will be transitioning over to middle school this year. I'm her guardian and she typically gets a daycare voucher. However, they couldn't find a program or any residential programs in the area where she could go before or after school. It would be extremely appreciated if anything could be put in place exclusively for the fifth graders. And I did send over a response, thanking her for her message, included that my son is a rising sixth grader, so this is something we just through. I did say I want to be transparent that the fifth grade after school care is not a program that we have funding or staffing for in the 2024-2025 school year. It is not the first time this has come up, and I can certainly ask our finance and facilities subcommittee to continue reviewing this as a possible offering in the district. Right now, the offering for fifth grade is limited to after school activities like intramural sports. I provided a link of an old Friday memo showing some of the available after school activities. There's typically a late bus providing transportation for kids participating in these activities, and I believe that most of these are done by about 3:30 or so. And suggested contacting middle school administration for further information, and hoped that they would find a solution that works well for their family. So I was going to make sure that this is a topic that comes up. It's not the first time I've heard a request for, because it dates back to that transition where the fifth grade used to be in the elementary school. It used to go to be eligible for the extended day program, then they moved back up here, and the extended day program does not extend up here because we don't have the staffing or the funds or the resources today. But we'll continue looking at that and assessing the need and having conversations about it. I know that there's a lot of discussions about budgets for this coming year is going to be a big topic, so we'll make sure that that gets brought up there. Any questions or comments about that?
I just had a question, is the extended day program, is it full?
Yes.
I mean, I made that assumption, but I just wanted to clarify, and that's, people that are watching, yeah.
Great question.
Yeah.
It is full and it's not eligible for fifth grade
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
Because of the time difference as well, so you think
Yeah.
about.
That was gonna be, that
what
would
do you
be
like
my
to do?
statement, because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it's too bad we can't turn around and, send the bus, but there's time differences between school and it's already
Yeah,
filled, so.
yeah.
This is where my brain just went to, so.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, we all do that out loud thinking that.
Yeah.
It'll be a second, but yeah, I agree. I had the same question. So yes, we'll make sure that that gets brought up. All right. So our next meeting is coming up on Thursday, September 19th, and we do not need executive session, correct? To confirming. So I would entertain.
Move to adjourn.
There we go. Okay, made a motion.
Second.
Second by Sean, all in favor?
Aye.
And I say yes, so thank you, everyone.